Weirdos, I'm Felicia and I like scary movies, and as it says in the title, today we're doing a horror pack unboxing and giveaway. I am really excited to be working with Horror Pack. This is actually the first time I've ever worked with a company, literally ever, so I am freaking thrilled. But this is going to be a bit of an unusual unboxing for two reasons. One, this is, as you will find out, the March Horror Pack. So they did send this to me. This is not their fault. The mail system basically lost it. Unclear if it's due to virus situations, possibly to the fact that I live in New York City and there's a lot going on here. But it never arrived, so they sent me a replacement, which, thank you. That was very nice of you. And I'm sitting around on the YouTube as I do, and I'm like, everybody already did their unboxing. Everybody already did it. They're on to their April unboxings. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this a little bit different. And instead of just doing an unboxing video, I watched all of the Blu-rays that they sent me. All of them today. So not only am I gonna tell you what was in the March Horror Pack, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a brief review of each of the films. And if you're just here for the giveaway, well, you're gonna have to deal with this part first. So ha! Okay, the first movie I checked out today was Bloodfest. I popped this one in first because it was the one I had heard the most about and I was most excited to see. This came out in 2018 around the same time as Hellfest. And I saw Hellfest in theaters, and I think some people weren't super impressed by it, but I thought it was a very fun Halloween October vibes movie. And this came out around the same time. On what I assume is a lower budget. It did not have a wide theatrical release. And so I'm really glad they included this one because it's something that's been on my list for a while and it gave me the opportunity to check it out. This, I will say, hands down, was my favorite of the day of the horror pack. I thought this was really fun. It's not what I expected at all. Like, honestly, I just kind of expected it to be like Hellfest because that's what the articles on the internet kind of alluded to. In Hellfest, you have a Halloween festival where there is like a killer on the loose in the festival who's not affiliated with the festival. And Bloodfest is very different, where the whole entire festival itself is like a conspiracy to kill people. It's also got a very meta quality to it. They do a lot of jokes and discussion about horror movies within the movie, very a la Scream. Also, Bloodfest was written and directed by Owen Egerton, who also did Mercy Black in 2019. And actually the quote on the front of the Blu-ray says, "The Party Horror Film of the Year," and that's a quote by Dread Central. And I actually kind of agree with that. I don't know of the year, but it was definitely a party horror film. Just really silly, really fun, so much blood, so much death, and a lot of jokes. Sometimes the acting was a little subpar, but honestly, I could really look past that because I had a great time watching it. So in this particular horror pack, we had two Blu-rays that are films that were a little bit more established, and then two that are a little bit smaller films, more DIY. So I think that's a nice little mix for us. So the second film I checked out was a found footage film called Rewind. And this is a horror pack limited edition. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried putting this in. I put it in and I was like, is this gonna be like really bad? I know that's rude. But there wasn't really a lot of information on the back of this. I think the only thing it says in tiny letters at the bottom is like, written by Matt Stewart's and Adam Hartley and directed by Matt Stewart's. And so I was like, oh no. And it's also found footage, and I was just like a little suspicious. And so I put it in, and the first thing I noticed right off the bat is the two guys in the movie are Matt and Adam. So the writer-directors, they're the ones in it. This is about as DIY as it gets, y'all. I assume it's literally just the two of them with their cameras running around the woods filming this movie. Even in like the credits of the film, so much of the credits was just like free sound cues, and I was like, wait, what? And at first, I was unimpressed for about the first 2/3 of the movie. And about halfway through, I was really starting to wonder, okay, like, what is the point of this movie? What is the heart of this movie? Why did they make this movie? And then they got to it, finally. And there was a big twist in this movie that I won't necessarily reveal to you, but I will just use the title to explain a little bit. They show you a lot of footage, and then they rewind and show it to you again, rewind, show it to you again, and you learn new things about the footage that you've seen every time. And that concept itself is really cool. And the concept of this movie, I think, is really interesting and was a really good idea. I just think there seemed to be a lot of fluff found footage conversations trying to build to it. But I guess we kind of need that fluff too. I don't know. This is definitely a very low budget, very DIY film. But it did remind me of the speech that Joe Bob gave the other night after One Cut of the Dead, talking about filmmakers and how to not be an aspiring filmmaker, but just be a filmmaker and make your movie. And that is definitely what these guys did, and I am proud of them for that, even though I don't know them, but good job. By the way, this one I think was from, I think this originally came out in 2015. Yes, it did. Okay. Okay, next up, and this is a cool one to include, we have Land of the Dead, George Romero. And this was cool. To be so honest right now, and I think I've said this on my channel before, zombies are sort of where I feel like I'm lacking in some of my knowledge. I have a few favorite zombie films, one of them, of course, being Night of the Living Dead, but I haven't seen all of them. I haven't seen all of the Dead movies, so I hadn't seen Land of the Dead before, but I did enjoy certain things about it. This definitely feels like a crossover between a horror and an action movie. There's a lot of like action sequences, a lot of guns, a lot of explosions. Are there explosions? It feels like there's explosions. And the thing that I think makes this a little bit different than other zombie films is the fact that yes, you're in a zombie apocalypse, a little time has passed, and the zombies are actually getting some of their brains back, their intellectual abilities back. They're able to make choices again. And in so many zombie movies we've seen, it's just, you know, all they want to do is eat people, eat their brains, blah, blah, blah. And in this one, you have that as well, but you can see that there is sort of something building inside the zombies. And I think it's a really good look at classism, and definitely you have all these rich people staying up in this high skyrise, and all the zombies and like the poor people down below trying to get into the skyrise. I will say, as someone that doesn't watch a ton of zombie movies, I don't know if I'd watch this again, but I do think if you're into zombies, you'll probably love it. Okay, and last but not least, Accidental Exorcist. So this is another like more B-movie, low-budget film, and another one where I can tell someone just went and made their own damn movie. So Daniel Felici, I hope I said that right, he is the director and also stars in it. And when I pulled this one out, I like the cover, but I was a little worried with the title, Accidental Exorcist. I was like, okay, it sounds a little silly. Travis, I think, said it sounds like a comedy. Like it's like, oh, the Accidental Exorcist. And I was kind of going in being like, is this going to be a comedy? Is this just a horror movie? What's going on? And once again, similar to Rewind, very cool concept. It's a very different kind of exorcism tale where you have this guy who doesn't really want to be an exorcist, but that's just the powers he possesses. That's the skill set he has. He doesn't really have other ways to make money or have a life. He's an alcoholic. He's down on his luck. And the only kind of way he can make money is by going to people's houses and doing exorcisms. Now, I do have two complaints about this movie that I will just go ahead and tell you. One, it's way too long. It's way too long. And two, I feel like every single scene has somebody throwing up or something falling out of their mouths. And I said this on my channel many times, but I can deal with blood all day, but if someone is throwing up their lunch, I just can't look at it. And every single scene, whether there was a possessed person or not, somebody was throwing up. And I was like, come on. But something I did really appreciate about this movie is that it is freaking weird at some points. Like, they bring in these really like dark styles of humor into even the exorcism scenes themselves, because the way he's talking to these possessed people is so almost mundane and strange. There is definitely like a very dark humor to this movie that I did appreciate. A lot of really strange sequences that I was like, this is really weird, but I'm into it. And truly, if they had cut out 30 minutes, I think I would have really liked this movie even more. But it was also the fourth movie of the day, and I was getting a little tired. And so those are the 4 Blu-rays. So I've never received a horror pack before. This is my very first one. It's very exciting. And I gotta say, the thing I loved most about it was having 2 movies that I have heard of, have names to them, I'm already going to be excited about them, and 2 movies I've never heard of and probably would have never ever seen otherwise. And I think that's really cool because, I mean, I'm going to bring it up again. The Joe Bob, One Cut of the Dead speech he gave at the end of this past week's last drive-in. just the idea of getting your own movie made and making your movie no matter what it takes, I think is really amazing. And so to have two lower budget, more DIY films, people doing multiple jobs on the movie, making it happen, I think is really inspiring. And for these to be getting Blu-ray releases, I think is really cool for the filmmakers. And yeah, overall really great. But I gotta say, I loved Bloodfest. I loved Hellfest too. I'm down for any kind of spooky Halloween movie where there's a lot of like ghosts and spooky decorations and bloodshed. Like, I'm just interested and I want to watch it. And I would say that's it, people, except for we have to do the giveaway now. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So I get to give away one horror pack to one of you, which is very exciting. Okay, let's do two things. One, I'll put a sign up sheet in the description box below where you need to go sign up for the giveaway. And two, you have to comment, "Toby is a good boy," just because he loves to hear that. I will email the winner 24 hours after this video goes live. And if you don't win, I will also put an affiliate link down in the description box below if you want to try out Horror Pack anyway, because honestly, it's pretty cool. And that's it, people. Have a nice scream. Bye.